Good YouTube, Quinway, coming to y'all with that basketball analysis on analysisplayground.com and on YouTube. We're going to talk about what to expect from the Washington Wizards. Now, we know that they won't be a great team or won't be an amazing team or a fantastic team, and they might drive you a little crazy because of what they're going to be doing and how bad they possibly might be on and off the court. Maybe a walking disaster. But one thing I will say, they showed up even after a 15 and 67 win loss ratio slash record last year, and now they come in as one of the worst defensive teams and one of the worst offensive team. But they have a lot of young talent that they brought in to fill out this roster, even in the draft. And we're going to talk about that. This is a deep, long, crazy roster with a lot of guys that really have a lot of upside still, including their rookies. And you look at the fact that Tristan, Jonas, Valanciunas, and guys like that are still interesting and intriguing players to see if they're going to make this roster and stay on this roster the whole year. I feel also Justin Champagnie and Kuba Bali, those guys are going to be interesting too if they're even going to get a lot of minutes or playing time, as they're long guys that has a lot of athleticism, but they don't really have the shot making ability that's needed to be a factor in the NBA, which isn't really so much of a surprise. Usually rookies struggle with efficiency and decision making and play making for the most part, and I think that that's not going to be anything new for this particular team. I think that we look at guys like Keyshawn George, who has upside, got the length, got the size, seems like he can play in transition real well. He can be a corner 3-point sniper, is what we're looking at in the future. May not be that right away. Young players usually struggle with consistency and being able to knock down shots too on the road. The season is longer, your body not ready. Sometimes you have to do that at the same time as you're still trying to work out on other skills, and it just doesn't add up right away for most players. Rashawn Holmes is a big body. He's older now. Do he still have the rebounding ability to hit the push shot? Can he still be a decent rim protector? That's going to be something that we're going to have to see if he can do at this age of 30, because he don't seem like he's as wanted or played as well as he should have, and that can have decreased his value as a guy that people wanted to have on their roster. Now people don't really care about him too much when it comes to making a move for him. And Rashawn Holmes was always a quality player. I want to see if he still has that, as a motivation coming into this season. Corey Kispert is another guy. He was drafted high because of his floor spacing ability and ability to knock down shots and camouflage within the offense and be able to stand out once the ball is kicked to him, because he had a glaring discrepancy in college as one of the best shooters in college. Didn't really work too well in the NBA right now, but I would say he can always shoot decent from three, and that's all you can really ask him to do, is be respectable. And I feel like he has been that since he's been drafted, and the numbers back that up. But he has to continue to do that because this team really does need it. Jordan Poole, their star, a guy that can handle the ball, get to the basket, knock down shots all over the court. A guy that's very combo-ish when it comes to the guard position. He likes to handle the ball a lot. He likes to make decisions and make plays. Also, he's not the greatest decision maker. He doesn't have the highest IQ. He's not the most patient player. He is a little sloppy and turnover-ish with his play, just because he gets too excited or he gets too ahead of himself. And I think that that's been a detriment to his game. But he's still a guy that has struggled offensively. When he went to the Wizards, he doesn't have as much floor spacing. He doesn't have as much players that can help him get easier shots and opportunities to where they can set him up for easy buckets too on this particular roster. And he knew that going to Washington, that was going to be a challenge and it was going to be tough. And he didn't even average 20 points last year. And most people would have thought that he's going to go to Washington, he's going to double his scoring and double his output. And that just didn't happen in Washington. Alex Sarr was one of the most disappointing players in summer league. He's a big, long, athletic body, very fast, very quick, and very nimble when he gets the rebounds and when he tries to go up and finish. He kind of forgot his style of play and what he likes to do. He was more glued to perimeter when he was in summer league, and then when he was playing overseas, he liked it to dunk and finishing around the paint with his hook shots or his touch shots, or go straight up with force or power, or he would kick the ball back out if he didn't have a shot. It seemed like he lost that in summer league, or they was asking him to play a different role, or he just couldn't get his A game going, or maybe it was a competition. But we would like to see more out of Alex Sarr doing well, and I think the Wizards fans will agree with that, because that was just a huge disappointment to get this guy so high in the draft, and then when you see him play, you have nothing really positive to take away besides he's a solid rim protector, and he's a guy that can rebound at a great level possibly, but his rim protection has been his strongest, attribute so far. And if he can't score the basketball, at least he can cover space and try to contort shots and contest shots and try to deter people at the rim. At least he can bring that to the table if the shots don't fall. And I think that even if he rebounds, he can help you in transition by making outlet passes. So I think Alex Sarr still is a valuable player. He still is a guy that they're going to count as a foundation piece. They just need his spirits to be higher, his confidence to be higher, and his game to be more simplified. And he also just need to keep it simple and keep it minimalistic at the start of his career, just as a confidence builder, to let him know that you're here, you belong here, you're one of the best players in the world. We need you to continue to set screens and get guys open with dribble handoffs, or just setting screens in general for cutters and shooters, because Corey Kispert, Jordan Poole, and those guys need you to make their job easier, and we need you to help them be greater. And then the turnoff means they help you become greater and help you get easier shots, because they have to get so much attention from you that it allows you to get an easy basket or sneak in runs and dump offs and deep catches, to where all you gotta do is go up and finish strong with confidence. Marvin Bagley is another guy that's been moving around the league, and he thinks he found a home here. And I think that this team actually does need another big. They actually need a guy that's a 7-footer slash close to it, that can post up a little bit and knock down free throws and mid ranges and catch lobs. He's athletic. He's mobile. I think he still is a big man that people feel like should be a starter, and people are just happy just to have him on the roster. I think whether he's a starter or a backup, it don't really matter too much, just because he's not going to be that much of a difference maker. I think we all have accepted that, but it's still interesting to see what they're going to do with him on his roster and what he's going to do impact wise, because they're going to need him to do those things. They want to keep him around, or they want to be successful as a team. That's what they're going to have to do. But to be able to get 11.6 rebounds in a short amount of minutes, which he only played 24 minutes, that shows you that he can be a decent producer for them. Another player that we see in that grain is Sadiq Bey and Patrick Baldwin, are other guys that showed that they can possibly be decent at scoring the basketball and making shots, and that's something that this team desperately needs that they didn't really have last year. It's just more guys that you can give the ball to, and they can put the ball in the basket. I know Sadiq Bey isn't the best ball handler or the best scorer, but he can make threes and he can make mid ranges, and he's a guy like Patrick Baldwin that may not get too many minutes, but at least you know that he can play multiple positions and give you contributions all over the court. Malcolm Brogdon is another one of those combo guys that he can pass very, very well. He can set guys up. He can help guys get easy opportunities and easy shots. He can make shots for himself, and he can also give them playoff experience that some of these guys just don't have, and just being a great locker room guy, showing you I'm willing to do whatever it takes to win and help this team achieve the goals, that they have set out as a team and organization. And I think Malcolm Brogdon brings clarity and understanding of that, and he also always preaching that, but he also is a guy that can play and is very respected around the league. Jerry Butler and Bub Carrington are not those guys that's going to be playing a lot or being too decisive on the court, because the coach is going to look at it like, I got better veterans that's going to be hogging that time and hogging those minutes. for us to be able to win. Like I said, the lottery don't help you too much, even if you're a bad team. So they still trying to win as much as they can. They have as much talent as they can, and there's a lot of guys out there, and they traded for some guys just to take some salary back, just to get some picks, and it helps smooth and even out this team as they trying to add another big lottery pick to this roster so they can continue to build something special in the future. And I think Bub is going to be essential to that. Jerry Butler is going to be essential to that. You can also say Sadiq Bey and Baldwin, if they choose to keep them, they could be essential to that. And same with Bagley and Keon George. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do with Johnny Davis. He hasn't been great offensively. He hasn't been able to finish. He hasn't been able to shoot. He hasn't been able to defend at a high level. But he is a guy that still has the opportunity this year to show what he has. His best cards are gone. Now he just have to do what he has to do to survive in the league. And Koulibaly, I feel like he's going to be essential to seeing what this team is going to be athletically and lengthwise in the future, and see if he can be a difference maker for this team, if not this season. And Kyle Kuzma, this is a guy that's older. He's a champion. He can space the floor. He can get his own shot. He has fun. He became a better facilitator last year and read the game a lot better. And he had a career high showing you that I can really play at this level. I can score on any level. And I'm a guy that is confident in myself, and I help make my teammates better because of the distraction I can bring on the court by dominating the basketball and dominating when it comes to scoring. And I think that just makes their job a lot more easier because of that. But I think Kyle Kuzma is going to be an interesting guy on this roster, and it's going to be interesting to see how they choose to use him, or if they choose to keep him the whole entire season. But other than that, I look at the Wizards as a team that maybe in the playing tournament, maybe a little too bad to not be in the playing tournament. They have a lot of veterans. They have a lot of scorers. They have a lot of shooting. They need their bigs to set some screens for them. They need their bigs to give some rim running, and give them a little spacing at the mid range or at the 3-point line. And I think that the guys that they have, even the big men they have, can make this team be a surprise team where you think they're going to be bad, you think they're going to be terrible. Then you look at the roster and say, well, they should be able to win some games. They should be able to win over 20. They definitely should be in the 30 range. But will that be enough to be a play-in tournament team? I don't know. I don't see it, but I do see them winning way more games than they won last year and putting themselves in the conversation to be a play-in tournament team. But it's going to come down to execution. It's going to come down to patience. It's going to come down to how do you read what this team needs to do as a coach. I think the coaching staff is essential to this team for that reason, because they got to know what to do, and how to play off each other, how to make each other understand the game when they're on the court, and what's needed from them, on this particular roster. What is you trying to do? What is you trying to build? Because you can hurt egos when you say, I'm just trying to get another guy, or I'm just trying to trade you for another guy, or I'm just trying to draft another guy. It can hurt your ego as a player. It can hurt your pride a little bit, and you might not want to be on the roster no more, or you might feel that there's no loyalty there, so I'm not going to play my best, or I'm going to do just enough to be tradable. And I think that having that mentality is basically sad, but it's the truth, and it's reality for a team like this, where these guys know that they have become great individual players and great contributors, and these teams have still traded them or got rid of them over and over again, even though they have produced solid numbers or produced in the opportunities that they have been given, and the NBA has continued to give up on them or put them in a different direction, even though they have carried their weight or did what they were supposed to do. And they have a bunch of players like that on this roster, so they're going to relate, and they're going to talk about how ugly the business side of it is, how ugly the game can be because of the business side of it. But they still contribute, and they still can play, they still can produce at a high level, and it's going to be interesting to see if this team can win as a collective instead of playing, for number of stats or career, legacy. Other than that, this team has talent. This team is going to be a respectable team. They're going to compete. You're going to have to beat this team, because they're not going to go out, early. They're going to compete the whole 48 minutes. I would say that, but I also would say that they're competing for career. Like, how long can I stay in the league? Because every game matters. Every game, they're gonna watch your body language. They're gonna watch your passion. They're gonna watch your love for the game. They're gonna be scouting you, and you just have to pay attention to that and factor that in when you're on a team like this where you're meant to be bad, you're meant to be terrible because they really want to retool and rebuild at the same time. And if they get another lottery pick by being bad this year, you're not really going to try to help that because they don't make you look good as an individual. And I think that that's going to be their biggest problem on this roster. And seeing this roster is some of these guys still want to prove themselves. Some of these guys still want to be starters. Some of these guys feel like they can impact winning. This team is not in position to do that, and they really don't want to do that as an organization. And that can be something dangerous, on this roster when you have those type of egos still in place. But other than that, comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell for more analysis. And if you like this channel and you like this video, or just your first time watching, you're a fan of what I just did, you can always subscribe it. And when you do that, make sure you watch the older videos because there might be a lot of content that you have missed that you might want to see, you might want to watch, or you're just a basketball fan and you have some free time and you wanted to, get something different to see or watch. This is the channel for you, as I upload pretty much every single day. Other than that, if you feel that you want to see other variety, I have that also on the channel 2K. I also have tributes, breakdowns of the best players currently in the Legends. I also have, different type of variety as the channel continued to grow. I've been able to add different type of styles to keep you guys interested, even if you're a new fan. Other than that, see you guys later.